Just one more day and the 2023 NFL Draft will finally be here. The next few days from there, the dreams of 259 young men will come true. The dreams of a lot of GMs, head coaches, and fans will come true too, depending on who gets picked where. Remember when former Raider head coach John Gruden said he's not into dreams, he's into nightmares? Well, we can tell he's into nightmares by the picks he made when he was in charge. From 2018 to 2021, Gruden made 7 first-round picks and only 2 of them are still on the team. That's a waste of 5 first-round picks, which is definitely a nightmare. It's a good thing he won't be in the war room tomorrow. We'll get to see what GM Dave Ziegler can do, as he'll have a full complement of picks for the first time as a Raider. It's hard to say what he'll actually do because we don't really know Ziegler yet. So this mock draft is more of a mixture of what I hope he'll do and what I think he'll do. The Raiders need to address the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball and the defensive secondary the most, so those areas will be addressed. Let's jump into this thing. Sorry, I'm not buying CJ Stroud or Jalen Carter dropping out of the top 5. I just don't think that's going to happen. So I'm going to roll with who I think is the best prospect on the board that just so happens to fill a need and be a perfect scheme fit. I know some of you are going to come see me in the comments section about Devon Witherspoon, but he's not a press man corner. He played against suspect competition too. With his height, length, and athleticism, Christian Gonzalez is made to do what the Raiders are going to ask him to do. So that's the pick at number 7 overall. Alright, staying with the defense, we're going to the line of scrimmage in round 2, and I'm going to slaughter this name. Interior defensive lineman Adetomiwa Adebawor. This man is 6'2" with 34-inch long arms, 282 pounds, and runs a 4.4 40. He was made to rush the passer, but from where? The interior or the edge? I'm going to say both, as the new regime loves versatility from their days in New England. He'll be a 3-4 end in the base and rush the passer from inside and outside in sub packages. Yep, we're staying with the defense in round 3. Linebacker Henry To'o. That's addressing all 3 levels of the defense. To'o can run, hit, and showed great coverage potential as he was often matched up on slot receivers at Alabama. The Raiders really need linebackers that can cover one-on-one so they can play that press man outside on the corners. Last year, Raider linebackers and safeties got lit up when the Raiders were in zone coverage, and the corners got lit up when they were in zone. They got to change that this year. Back to the offense, where the line of scrimmage definitely needs to be addressed, particularly the guard position with the Raiders' 2nd, 3rd round pick. 6'3", 322-pound Chandler Zavala looks like he could be one of the answers there. I see where many of you have recommended Andrew Voorhees for the spot. Hey, I like guys from USC too, but he's a zone blocking guard. He doesn't do very well in the power gap scheme. From what I've seen, Zavala is a big mauler that can also pass protect pretty well, so that's who I have to roll with. Now we're in round 4 and we stay with the interior part of the line, but we flip back to the defensive side of the ball. At 6'3", 290 pounds, running a 4.9 40, Kobe Turner is another one of those penetrating 3 technique types. He's on the borderline of starter and backup too, which is perfect for the Raiders. He can back Adebawor up as a 3 technique and sub in for him when they put him out on the edge. I like this guy and think he has something to him. I definitely want him to be a part of the Raiders' defensive line rotation. Going back to the offensive side of the ball, we're staying on the line of scrimmage, the interior part at that. I don't know if the Raiders need another starter at guard, but after seeing Alex Bars last year, I don't even think he should be a backup, so they need someone that can take his place. So here they take Sidy Sow or Sal, who's 6'5", 325 pounds, runs a 5 40, has a 32-inch vertical leap, and he's very powerful. I think this right here is good use of the Raiders' 5th round pick. You didn't think I was going to go without picking a quarterback, did you? Well, we're still in the 5th round and I'm finally doing it here, and Clayton Tune is my guy. He has some things to clean up, but he's actually as talented as a lot of those guys that are going in the 1st round. He has a big arm, he's accurate, he can run. He's just the kind of guy you want to develop behind a quarterback like Jimmy Garoppolo for a year or 2. Then when he's ready, he'll be stepping into a hell of an offense. If they have to take him a round or 2 earlier, they should do it. I've been looking for guys that can cover opposing tight ends for a long time now, and I'm sure Ziegler is now. Travis Kelce, among others, has been brutalizing the Raiders. That's part of why I predicted 2022 undrafted free agent Isaiah Pola-Mao would make the team last year. He came along last year and looked pretty good as he started to see the field more. I hope he can grow into a starter, but the Raiders need to bring in more for competition, depth, whatever. That's where linebacker/safety Marty Mapu comes in with the Raiders' 3rd, 5th round pick. The Raiders were absolutely ravaged by injury at the corner position last year. Each of their top 3 corners spent some time injured. That's why Ziegler brought in a lot of depth in free agency. But football is a 100% injury sport, so I'm going to bring in one more here in the 6th round. At 5'11", 180 pounds, Mekhi Blackmon is the man for the job here. He can play outside, he can play in the slot. Blackmon can fill in at any of the corner spots, and there won't be too big of a drop-off. When Denzel Perryman got hurt at the end of last year, opposing teams ran all through the Raiders' defense, and I don't want to see that happen again. Well, the exact same thing isn't going to happen again because Perryman isn't here anymore. But what happens if Robert Spillane, who's a good run stopper, gets hurt? Divine Diablo's a solid backup Mike, but he got hurt too. That's why the Raiders got ran through at the end of last season. So the Raiders need a good, solid, run-stuffing backup Mike. So the Raiders' second 6th round pick should be Ventrell Miller. Now we're in the 7th round where we look for more depth to round out the roster, and edge rusher can use some depth. The Raiders already have Max Crosby, one of the best in the league, and Chandler Jones, who's a proud Warrior I expect to come back and have a good year this year. I still believe the Raiders can get something out of Malcolm Koonce too, but you can never have too many edge rushers. You can never have too many pass rushers, period. Ask the Philadelphia Eagles. So I'm intrigued with O'Shawn Mathis, 6'5", 255 pounds with 35 1/4 inch long arms. Dear Lord, please don't let Brian Hoyer have to play quarterback in a game for the Raiders this year. I hope Jimmy Garoppolo stays healthy, but that's a big hope, so the only way to ensure that Hoyer doesn't play is if he's not on the team. So with the Raiders' 2nd, 7th round pick and last pick in the draft, I'm bringing in Max Duggan to bring in some competition. He has a pretty good arm and runs a 4.5 40, so there's some talent in there. He can eventually develop into a solid backup and hopefully get Hoyer out of there now. The NFL draft is now here, starting tomorrow, so what are the Raiders going to do when they're on the clock? I got to where I knew Gruden and Mayock pretty well, and they were pretty transparent, so I was able to put together some pretty good mock drafts during their time. Ain't a doggone thing coming out of that building these days, so this mock draft is based mainly on what I'm hoping. And I'll tell you right now, my hope, especially in the 1st round, is Christian Gonzalez. He has the ability to be a superstar corner in the NFL. If Stroud or Carter drop out of the top 5, great, but I'm not going to waste my time hoping for them to drop. Go ahead and let me have it in the comment section on this mock draft. Thank you for watching. See you next time.